I've awakened our attorney, Lisa Lanier. I've instructed Biggie to do it. And about something that I'm wrong about, as usual. That's Biggie says that I always do this. We wake up Lisa Lanier, and then I'm wrong.
Yeah. It's becoming a pattern. You're, what do they call it? Yep. A habitual offender.
Yeah, I guess that's
well, you're
right.
always so shocked when you're wrong, too.
I know. Well, last week, it was when that woman burned down that
The crazy
house.
ex-girlfriend.
The crazy ex-girlfriend burned down our house. I said, well, say goodbye to her for a quarter century. And everybody's like, oh, no.
3 to 4 months.
And by the time
maybe
we talked,
a year.
Lisa Lanier, she's like, yeah, she'll do a year. What? That's what I do. We've awakened her again. But I have to tell you, I'm sickened about a story from Pomona, California. You will be, too. I mean, listen to the reporter on this story.
And, Christine, this one is as bad as it gets. Make you sick.
It did make me sick. It did make me sick. Just to briefly say what happened, family moves into a house a month ago. It has a big backyard. They have a Labrador mix. He goes out into the backyard. He's 8 years old. He chases a squirrel into his neighbor's yard. Now, this is all according to the dog owner. He did go through a fence into the neighbor's yard chasing a squirrel. Mm-hmm. Neighbor was inside the house. Came out of the house with a revolver, shot the dog.
Do we know if he held the pistol sideways?
I don't know if he held the pistol
Gangland style?
I don't know.
Not a revolver. Those are old school.
The owner of the dog sees the dog bleeding, but still living, and says, please, let me have my dog back. The man instead callously goes over and shoots the dog multiple times.
Until the trigger goes click.
Dog dead. Family devastated, reporter sickened, disc jockey wakes lawyer. All right, that's where we are. Lisa Lanier, thank you for joining us for this.
Absolutely. You know, you can call me anytime, as early as you want. I've been up since 4. I'm an early bird.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. I told you, Biggie. I told you.
Biggie never wakes me up.
I told you she's awake. So
the law never sleeps.
The law never sleeps. Yeah. That's right. She goes to bed in a pantsuit. That's what in case. Okay.
Her attaché by her side all night long.
You never know.
She sleeps with her.
I think they say it could be just discharging a weapon in a residential area. I think it's animal cruelty, and I want this guy under the jail. Talk to us, Lisa. What are your thoughts?
So in California, they have very specific laws about when you can and cannot shoot a dog. And so there's basically 4 instances to protect people, to protect property, based on past dangerous behavior. And the 4th one is trespassing dogs, which this one is. But there's a second layer to this, which is that you have to have a reasonable belief that it's a self-defense kind of thing, a reasonable belief that killing the dog is the only way to prevent the threat of immediate harm to yourself or your property. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like this guy had that, and particularly with regard to the 7 last shots. You know, the first shot maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was trying to save the squirrel, whatever, or he felt like he was in danger.
Maybe.
But the last 7 where he, after the homeowner or the dog owner rather, says, give me my dog, please, and he callously shoots him 7 more times, that is literally overkill by definition. And I think I think it could be actionable. Whether they will or not, it's pretty unusual, but this is getting a lot of traction in the media, so they may charge him.
I hope they do. I hope they try. I'd like to be called for that jury. Put me out in California.
No, you wouldn't be on it because you know too much.
Put me.
Are you familiar with this case? Yes, I
am. I've already spoke to a lawyer about it.
You'd go through a box of tissues in the voir dire.
You better believe it. Oh, I want this guy in jail. Let's say they go all the way.
Mean.
Yeah, it is mean.
Yeah.
If they go all the way, what's the punishment for this guy?
It's I think it's still a misdemeanor in California, so it's not that serious. Although a lot of states have, if they add an animal cruelty to it, which they might, they've actually made that a lower level felony in most states now. So but just the killing of a dog under the old statute alone was a misdemeanor. I think it's kind of one of the more serious misdemeanors. But you're looking at animal cruelty now; they've really upped the up the charges and the penalties for that.
I hope they charge him with animal cruelty, and I hope he gets the maximum sentence.
And discharging in the neighborhood.
That too. I want that thrown on top of it. That's right.
This is the town of Pomona. I don't stand for that.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am just
Emotional justice.
And a lab. I mean, labs are like the sweetest dogs on the planet, right?
I know. Oh, poor K9. He's only 8 years old. I am just beside myself. Yes, this is a case of emotional justice. Yes. I'm emotional about it.
And it should be.
Thank you. Lisa, we always appreciate you being on with us. And we won't hesitate to call. Now that we know where you are, we'll be right with you.
Got my fancy ready. It's all good.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa Lanier. We appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
The other day, I was speaking of dogs. I was doing another episode from walking through my neighborhood, and delivery trucks, of course, everywhere. And about maybe a year or so ago, there's a family that lives a decent, maybe 3/4 of a mile from our house. They got a husky dog, beautiful dog, and I think he must have one of those, tracking collars because he's always in his yard, but he's not fenced. But he's always just sitting in his driveway or just, sitting, watching the world go by. Never, I mean, he sees me walk by, but he never barks.
Right.
And I just say, hey, husky dog, and walk on by.
Right.
Well, the other day, an Amazon delivery driver had to pull up, and I was walking up the street on one side, and the Amazon truck pulled up on the other. So we were there simultaneously at Husky Dog's house.
Yeah.
The driver gets out of the truck, and of course, these guys are hustling. It's Christmas. And he's got this package in his hand. Well, Husky Dog is barking his head off. And they're about 12 to 15 feet apart.
Right.
Husky Dog is standing his ground literally in the sidewalk.
Yes.
Amazon driver looks at his truck, looks at Husky Dog, and I'm walking up the hill watching this, and I slow down my pace because I want to see how this plays out.
Right.
Amazon driver gets back in his truck and says, nope.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't approach.
So I don't know what the deal is if you're an Amazon driver. Do you just call the number on the package and say, I'm not putting a package on your porch with that dog there?
I bet so. I bet you say unable to deliver package because large dog was in the way.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then, it's a big dog. And I'd never heard his bark before.
Right. He just usually sits there. I bet you that's how it works, and then the homeowner has to go and pick up the package, or they have to arrange another time or
Could
something.
he put it at the end of the sidewalk?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Well,
Why not?
I think you have to go up to the well.
It needs to be put on property.
It is.
Knows, yeah.
So you're saying at the end of the driveway or the end of his
Yeah, into the driveway, into the sidewalk. That's property.
on the property.
Yeah, but somebody swing by and pick it up.
Well, I wonder how
Not
that
with
works.
that dog there.
Yeah.
Get me Lisa Lanier.
I'm not calling her.
Get me Lisa Lanier on the line and ask.
I'm not doing it.
All right, we need to ask somebody if an Amazon driver is allowed to just leave it at
Because
the end of the
we've had letter carriers before say that I don't feel safe delivering mail to such and such.
That's right.
You have to come get it at the post office.
I
So
think
where do you take an Amazon
I
package?
bet it's the same, don't you? Is there an Amazon hub? Is there a hub?
Yeah,
It's
in
called
Minneapolis.
Whole Foods.
Okay, yeah. Can I put it
Whole Foods?
So maybe help me go to Whole Foods and pick up your packaging. We have a interesting couple of things here. This is old school rock and roll. Yesterday at this time, we talked about a story we've mentioned on here many times before. In 1986, Dave Aiken was at a Journey concert here. Now, were you working that concert?
Yeah, I was
somewhere?
selling T-shirts.
I thought so. And the whole gist of it is Steve, and Christian's wife was at the concert as well.
Did you steal a shirt, Dave? They pay you in shirts?
No, they didn't. I wish they would. No, they paid you like whatever minimum wage was.
And we believe he was selling T-shirts.
Well, it was a subcontractor.
Meet me out back.
It was my wife's first ever concert.
That's right. And it is really one that goes down in the
made
history
history
books
books.
here because Steve Perry was hit with an object above the eye or right below the eye. And for years, we thought pork chop bone, glow stick, bracelet. It happened to come up the other night. I was at a party, and a guy said, I've heard you talk about this before. I was working security that night and saw the thing fly through the air and hit Steve Perry. Well, now, fact checker Rusty may have done his best work ever.
This is the deepest dive in history.
I can't believe he's done this. He has the audio of the event. He has what happened that night in 1986, November 13th of 86.
You know there was audio.
You ever heard this before, Dave?
No.
No, never heard it.
Only once.
You were right, Dave. It was Wheel in the Sky is what they were playing.
Was it?
Yep, they were playing Wheel in the Sky.
They just come out of lights.
Yes.
It was slow down.
Yeah.
Everybody was slow dancing.
He had Rusty had the set list, and they did Lights, and then they did Wheel in the Sky. They finished with "Don't Stop Believin'" and then their slow song to end it. I
Faithfully?
noticed, yeah, faithfully ended it, and "Don't Stop Believin'" was next to last. I went ahead in the concert to listen, and by the way, the whole show was an hour and 45 minutes, and I bet you it would have been longer if he hadn't gotten hit. It seemed like afterwards they were like speeding through the song.
Let's just get through this.
Yeah, like let's get through it and go home. And so Steve Perry is on stage, and that object comes flying at him. This is the moment it happens. Right there. It hit him. You heard
Stop the music.
It hit him. And
that's how you know it was live back then.
Yeah.
There was no backing vocals or anything. It all just kind of
Everything
scraped
just
across.
screeched to a halt.
And he said, all right, who the F? Point out the CSer. He's like, who's the CSer that threw that? Listen to the crowd booing. They know now something hit him. He picks it up, and they know something hit him. And he's saying, point him out. Show me.
Show me where right now. Show me. You see it? Show me where. Show me where. Hold on. Don't point this way. You're pointing this way.
He's like, you're pointing here. You're pointing there. Where? Where is he?
Is he wearing his tuxedo jacket without a shirt?
With tails.
Was he wearing that at the time? The
Yeah,
tails?
he had tails.
Show me the guy. Where is he? Point him out. He sounds like Mickey Mouse. I'll break bad on his ass. You don't want to cross me, sucker.
That's how you hit the notes.
He had a real high rate. Real high register. He really did well back then. Well, finally, he thinks he's got the guy. I mean, he says, I can get him out of here.
You know? Again.
And the crowd cheers. Now, my friend who I saw at this party the other night says that he was working security, and that guy actually was just drunk, and his friends, as a joke, said he did it, which really he didn't. Mm-hmm. And the guy, like, stepped forward, and they took him out.
Escorted him out.
Yeah, but it wasn't. They got rid of the wrong guy.
Wasn't the perp.
No.
Oh, big old goose egg tomorrow morning. Thanks for that, guy.
He said, I'll have a big old goose egg tomorrow morning because of that. Must have hit him right below the eye.
Ah.
And that's the end of Wheel in the Sky.
Wow.
And then Perry left the stage, and they did a little musical interlude for a while. They had, like, guitar solos and stuff for a while. What a crazy night.
How is that on tape?
That's what I want to know.
How did fact checker Rusty? I mean, above and
Was it just the
beyond.
audio?
Yes, all audio, and up on the screen is the set list. Mm-hmm. And so the whole show's there, the entire show. And fact checker Rusty had it queued up. He says, I know you're too lazy to find it. So
it's an hour and 15 in,
right,
or an hour and 20 in.
Yeah, it's like basically about halfway through the show. And after that, I did know, because I went forward to hear, like, Don't Stop Believing, and he was so fast with Don't Stop Believing.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to get out of there. Yeah, he probably pain in his, probably had, in his eye.
I figured it was just audio, because cameras were so big back then, and they did not allow cameras in those venues at all. They didn't allow tape recorders. How this got in there, I'll never know.
Incredible.
Unless somebody snuck in something, or that doesn't sound like it was through the soundboard. It's too muddy.
Yeah.
That would be cleaner if it was the soundboard.
Mike is on the line, says he knows something about this. This night, November 13th, 1986, Chris Demm's future wife was in attendance. Dave was selling quote-unquote T-shirts at the event.
Also known as swag weed.
I've
already been sold swag weed tonight.
Point it out! Who's selling the skunk weed? Who's selling the ditch weed?
Yeah.
Point it out!
We don't have enough for everybody.
Was the Coliseum filled with smoke at that point?
Of course.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Mike was at the show. Mike.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was there. So that was back in the day when you had to camp out for concert tickets, and we waited probably 24 hours to get those tickets. We were fourth row. Me and my friend, I'm not going to say his name, we double dated. People were throwing teddy bears and all kinds of flowers and things on stage. Well, his date said, throw this, and handed him her pewter bracelet. He threw it. It hit Steve right in the face. They did get us. They asked us to come backstage, and they took us straight back to security. Officer, Greensboro Police Department came and filed a report. We had to go to court. It got dismissed in court because they were asking is Steve Perry in the courtroom, and it was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then.
No, I get it. So it's a copper bracelet.
How about that? So it was. Well, see, my friend at the party the other night said it looked like a bracelet and he saw it flying across. And did your friend didn't mean to hit him in the face? Obviously, did you throw it too hard?
No, it was absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a total
we were
of love.
fourth row, so we were probably 20 feet away.
Yeah.
She was just like, here, throw this. Because, there were teddy bears and flowers and all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah.
It's interesting because stuff, I mean, I went to the Kenny Rogers show in 1981. 83.
Were they throwing panties?
They were throwing panties. They were
big granny panties.
They were throwing. My mother, I was
Take
in
my underoos,
and
pantaloons.
But they did. They threw a lot of flowers and stuff on it. So you see stuff thrown on the stage. I guess Steve Perry just did it, and he got hit in the face by it. Was your friend really apologetic and embarrassed?
Extremely. They did not care, not even a little bit.
Yeah. I guess that's right. But
so the case was dropped because Steve Perry wasn't there to prosecute.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Man,
how about that?
Well, listen. So they did point you out. Well, when Steve Perry said, "Point him out to me," did you point at your friend? Because I would have. I'd have been like this guy, but not me.
No, everybody, the sea parted. Everybody turned and looked at us. It was pretty obvious.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
And we were within 30 seconds. The four of us were all taken backstage and taken through the gate, right in the past the first row, around behind the stage, and locked in a little room and waited for the security. The security waited with us for GPD to come.
So it's a legendary
Well, I
moment.
hope you at least bought your shirt from Dave.
I hope you did too.
So you met Dave Aiken that night.
You probably got wrong change if you came to me.
Did you get your ditchweed that night? You got it from Dave Aiken. That's what they're saying. Wow, what a great story, Mike.
Yeah, really.
Incredible.
That is the
That's
story.
rock and roll lore.
Incredible.
Right there,
Put it
isn't
all together here today.
We finally gotten to the bottom of this.
We're the only ones. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. That's I have to credit fact checker Rusty with that.
Yeah, that's like to the bottom of the ocean deep dive.
To come up with that audio was really amazing. It was. The item that was sold at auction, in fact, it has just sold, and Kristen will be familiar with this. On the album cover for Rumors, Mick Fleetwood is standing with his foot on an ottoman. You've seen it. And some wooden balls are hanging around his waist.
Below the testicles.
Yes, below the he's like swashbuckler, And they just sold online $128,000. Those very balls.
Wow.
From Mick himself. Mick is getting and some other items in Fleetwood Mac history were already scheduled to sell before the death of Christine McVie. And so they were saying it might go for over 200, but the set of balls went for only 128,000.
That's a decent amount.
Not bad.
So
But it is a famous pair of probably the most famous pair of
balls
in rock and roll.
Probably so.
Other than the Spinal Tap cucumber.
Did they own them?
Yeah, his balls.
Those were his balls.
I thought so. Yeah,
he owned those. I don't know if he got them just for the album or what, but it was his private collection. Mick Fleetwood. Let's give Biggie a chance to comment on this. He wanted to. Yesterday, we reported, and we were correct on this, that Good Morning America and ABC were going to leave T.J. Holmes and Amy Robach on Good Morning America 3, GMA 3, which comes on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, even though they had been having an affair carrying on since March, and they were spotted canoodling at the Queen's Jubilee.
I don't care for that.
Offensive to Dave Aiken. Well, yesterday,
as a Queenie.
They went back on their word because yesterday when GMA 3 opened.
Now from Times Square, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes with Dr. Jen Ashton and What You Need to Know.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody to What You Need to Know on this Monday. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes have the day off. I'm Stephanie Ramos.
And I'm Gio Benitez. We are so glad you are here with us to begin this brand new week here on GMA 3.
We've got a Ramos Benitez combo.
Oh.
And so
Not
what's
since the Rangers took the Yankees out have I seen Ramos and Benitez step up so ably.
They did. And they have decided now, the head of GMA3 has said, we're not firing TJ and Amy Robach, but we're pulling them off the air until we can sort this out and figure out what to do. I guess they got a lot of people saying, oh, you've got to take them off the air. I don't know why. I mean, they made the decision.
The word they used was distraction.
Okay.
But
to
me, the show has never had more publicity.
I know.
In fact, ratings were off the charts.
I'm sure. Nobody knew who these folks were.
Oh, yeah. They said this all got reported after ABC basically said, yeah, ratings were way up.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hearing is, I guess there was rumors of TJ Holmes having an affair before.
That's correct. I just read this. His wife found out he had an affair in 2019, a 3-year affair with the married Good Morning America producer, Natasha Singh. And that started from 2016 to 19. He had a 3-year affair. So, that's what they're saying. Sources are saying. And a lot of people are saying he's very difficult to work with. Big ego, hard to work with.
Yeah, the TV's filled
that
with
going in.
They say he yells at his underlings. And
oh, no.
They're saying
they can't fire somebody for that, can they?
Well, I certainly hope not. You're not allowed to fire him.
$1 for every time I got yelled at when I was a kid and doing production.
You know what they say was he's not big enough. He walks around like he's Robin Roberts.
Exactly.
He's not, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't agree with this decision?
I think it's now, if they were going to be quote unquote okay with it, I don't like when they're backing off of it now.
Yeah. That's what happens, isn't
exactly.
it?
Exactly. They were fine with it,
Mm-hmm.
and especially I'm sure they were fine when they got that ratings boost because nobody gives one hot damn about GMA3.
No, you're right.
I'd rather watch an infomercial than those two.
and no advertisers have pulled or anything like
Unless
that.
You're right. I haven't read that.
Unless they've threatened to pull, and that's why they're having meetings.
No, I just read that they have just basically walked it back, that this has become, quote, a distraction in the hallways. And I'm like, again, who cares? It's GMA3.
Right. Well, you're right.
I think
worth the distraction, right?
I think that some of the other talent might be bitching.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because I think they got worried, like, well, if these two actually become an item and they blow up and the ratings are good.
You think Strahan?
Well, they can move to GMA2 or something.
What time does that come on?
Is there a 2?
Does that come on like at 11
a.m.? Is that what they're doing?
It comes on before lunch.
Is Michael Strahan say, hey, we don't need this.
GMA3 starts with Good Afternoon.
Oh, I know.
Like, who the hell is watching?
It's on at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it may be the clunkiest title in show business history. What you need to know, GMA3.
Yeah.
And why is it 3? Is the last hour called GMA2? I bet it is. I bet their final hour when...
No, but it's 2 hours anyway.
I don't know.
Right? Had they added a third hour like today?
They might, otherwise, why wouldn't they just call us GMA2? I don't know.
Yeah,
why call it GMA? It's not in the mornings.
Yeah, good question.
Just give it a new name.
I just think ABC should have taken the publicity. I don't think these two are going to stay together anyways.
Oh, you don't?
No.
This may drive them apart.
No, definitely. Now that it's out there, you lose the fun of the secret. I always say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that Biggie's lady friend has met all of us.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's over.